Alright guys, what's going on? Megan here. I got a question. Sorry, I'm tired as fuck, man. It's early in the morning. Gotta head out to work. I got both jobs today, and then I got class. And yesterday I went to bed like around 1, so I only had about 5-6 hours of sleep with the baby. Anyway, enough about me. Subscriber asked me a question about the video that I made about it's called Stop Training to Get Bigger. Make sure you watch that video before you understand the concept of this video. And it was based on, once again, a lot of research that I had done on people that used to really lazy bodybuilders, lazy people that used to just come to the gym, work out really hard for like a long period of time, and then take like a lot of time off. Then they'll come back and train again consistently, but then took a lot of time off, and then they kept doing that all year long because, you know, they were lazy. They would go out and drink and party, whatever, and they would come back. When they would come back and train again, they would get bigger even faster, right? So I thought they were on steroids. You know, that was my first guess. Second guess was they were, you know, they just had good genetics. Now, if your first two guesses are always those two guesses, you got fucking problems, right? You're never gonna get any answers out of life. If all you could do when you see growth is say genetics or steroids, you're never gonna learn any lessons. You gotta go deeper into Megan Sherlock mode and try to figure out what's the correlation. And I realized it kept happening over, even with my closest friends that I could, you know, that I knew were natural, you know. They would train, yeah, man, let's go in that gym. Yeah, they're ready, motivated. Then, for whatever reason, either because of, like I say, alcohol or whatever, or just being straight out lazy, or the gym will close, they will skip out on like 2 weeks of training. Then they'll come back, you know, looking normal, you know, pretty decent. And then when they start training, their body will blow up so quick, right? And now, you know, they're used to that routine, that cycle. And I kept seeing that in so many of my friends, and I'm like, what the fuck, man? How come I'm the most motivated motherfucker? I'm always in the gym. Yeah, I have my off days, but I'm always in the gym. And I never took more than 3 days off from the gym. And why is it that these guys are growing so much faster than me? And it can't be a genetic issue, because these guys, my friends are all over the world. I have Indian friends, white friends, black friends, whatever, right? So I figured, man, what is it? You know, what is the common factor? And then I told you guys it happened to me too at one point when I used to work out at War Memorial, which I still do, but before that's the only gym I had access to. And they had a really poovy schedule where they would just shut the gym for like 2 weeks randomly during the year, right, or during summer or whatever. So I was forced to be able, you know, to not be able to train. And then when I would come back and go back to the gym after those days, and I'm like, oh man, I lost my gains, let me work out again. Within a week or two, my body will almost like, you know, the changes were amazing, right? I gained so much size all over my body, but then, like I said, it was accidental. So one day I pulled out a piece of paper and I started writing all these things down. I was like, you know what, I gotta get to the bottom of this. What's up with this? These breaks, right? And then I found out one day by pure accident. I was studying MTOR, which is the mammalian targeted rapamycin. It is the most important thing in protein synthesis, right? When your body wants to build muscle, if the MTOR signaling pathways are not activated, I don't want to make it complicated, but it's inside every muscle cell, MTOR. If it's not activated, or if it's inhibited, you ain't gonna build no muscle, right? So I came upon the study on MTOR on scholargoogle.com. Look it up, great site to have professional information on bodybuilding, on building muscle. And they discovered that by experimenting with rats, you know, which are very, very similar to humans. I mean, most of you, for people that say, oh, animals are different, and not all animals, you know what I mean? Like a lot of the medicine you fucking taking now, a lot of your antibiotics you taking now, it had to be tested on rats first, right? So don't be so quick to say, oh, it's not the same. Because anyway, they did a study on humans too. At first, they did it on rats. They had one group of rats that trained consistently, you know, like a normal bodybuilder, and then took, you know, your typical off days, 2 to 3 off days, and train again. The other group of rats trained a lot, but then took like 14 days off, right? And they found out that the group of rats that would train, you know, for a long period of time and then take like 2 weeks off, when they would come back, their mTOR signaling pathway would become more and more, what's the word? I'm fucking tired. More stimulant, right? Like pretty much the group of rats that train all the time, like we train and just take 2 days off, whatever. In the beginning, the mTOR signaling pathway will activate really fast. It was really sensitive. That's what I was looking for. It was really sensitive to exercise, and it will start, you know, building muscle. But eventually, it will become more and more resistant. It doesn't matter how much they train or ate. And a group of rats that would take a long period of, you know, a long break off after training, after consistent training, the mTOR signaling pathways will reset. Everything will reset. It will become so sensitive when they go back in the gym, right? It's like almost as if they became noob gains again. You know, they got their noob gains again. You guys know when you first start training, the reason why you get big so quick is because your mTOR pathways are so sensitive to stimulus. But the more and more you train, the more it hardens, the more it becomes, you know, less sensitive to training, and the harder it is for you to build muscle. That's why people reach plateaus. They're like, oh, I don't get it. I eat, I lift, I sleep, I go to the gym, but I'm not getting those gains anymore. It's because they found out through research that the mTOR pathways have to be laid off. Or it's kind of like carbs. If you slam carbs every fucking day, at first your body releases insulin and tries to get the sugar out of your blood or whatever. But if you keep doing that for like a long period of time, what happens? You become insulin resistant. You become you become insulin resistant. You get diabetes or whatever, type 1, type 2. Same thing with mTOR, protein synthesis. If you always overstimulating mTOR, it becomes harder and harder for it to fill the stimulus. Even if you take time off, even if you take 2-3 days of your off days. So then they did an experiment on humans. They had a group of humans who would train consistently, like your normal split, and the other group would train consistently, but then take like 2 weeks off after probably 4 weeks of training, right? And that's that group that took 2 weeks off. When they would come back, the first time they work out, the mTOR will activate like a motherfucker, right? Everything would be so efficient and fluid. So when I read that, I was like, damn, that's just like my homies that would take time off and come back and get bigger and shit. It's almost as if your body becomes like a noob again. When you take a long time off from the gym and you go, it's almost as if your body goes back to being a beginner. Not completely, but you get my point. And then I saw more of these studies on the magazine I was reading one day, where they were like, oh, mTOR, we just discovered blah 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 blah. And then I remembered, everything clicked in my head. I used to study Kevin Levrone back in the days, and he was one of the bodybuilders that, yes, he had good genetics, but his philosophy was he used to take sometimes 3 months off from the gym. Now that's too extreme. I'm not telling anybody to do that. And then he'll come back and his body will grow super fast, almost twice as fast. Ronnie Coleman, a lot of people don't know that. Ronnie Coleman used to take a lot of time off from the gym after each Mr. Olympia. He said there's no way his body could have, handled that hard work all year long if he had not taken his long breaks. A lot of bodybuilders, from back in the days used to do that. And before, like I said, I just read those things and just skipped it. Like, fuck these niggas. But now science is, backing up bro science, And then a subscriber, oh shit, this video is long as fuck. But I hope you liking this information so far. But a subscriber sent me a message one day, right? He was like, hey man, Rick Drayson made a video. Check out Rick Drayson, really wise guy. Made a video with a guy a famous guy. He's called the Mystery Man because he had these like huge triceps that said he was natural. He was one of the only one out of all of them that was natural. And they asked him what was his secret, and he said, yes, he used to train, but by accident he used to take a lot of breaks, right? Because he used to drink a lot and he used to have, I don't know, family issues or whatever. He used to take a lot of breaks by accident. And every time he would come back, his arms would get even bigger and bigger and bigger. Every time he went back to the gym, it's like his body became a noob again, even though he only took like 2-3 weeks off. And his arm went from 19 to 20 to 21 inches. Leroy Cobra, the first man who developed 21-inch arms, his arms didn't get to 21-inch until when he was training consistently. I think he was at 19 or whatever. He didn't hit 21 until he got into an accident and couldn't train for a while, and then went back in the gym after a long delay, and boom, his arms blew up. So all these stories point towards, the same thing. And I told you guys, I like combining bro science and science. Once bro science and science agree on the same thing, you know it's working. So bro science, by looking at what my friends would tell me and shit, they would just come to me and say, hey John, man, I don't know how it's working for us, but we take a lot of time off sometimes. We come back, our body, grows so fast. And now this guy mentioned it, and my subscriber, I really appreciate you for, doing the Megan investigation and, finding correlations and shit. He mentioned that thing, and I actually went and watched the video, and boom, he was, that guy was on point. So my advice to you guys is go watch that first video first, and then if you don't believe me, do your own studies, right? But I strongly advise you to, after around 5 to 6 weeks of intense training, even if you take off days, whatever, try to take at least 2 weeks off from the gym, right? I know, to me, it's the hardest thing to do, to be honest, because I love training. I breathe the gym, like it's my sanctuary. That's where, release all my stress. That's why I'm still sane in spite of my busy schedule, because of the gym. But try, it's very hard to do, but just try taking 10 to 14 days off from the gym after each 6 weeks of a hard training program, and eat. Don't go to the gym. Don't do anything. Just relax. Let your body, become a noob again, and then go back to the gym, and you see how quickly your body's gonna respond. Try that, and get back with me. Also, in the comment section, if you have any stories that are similar to the ones I mentioned, put them down. Let people read it. Faith comes by hearing people's testimonies, right? But I appreciate the rest of the subscribers out there who are actually doing this research with me. We're all trying to get big together, so it really helps to share our experiences. Hope this video helps. If it does, give me a like, share a favorite, all that good shit. And I'm going to work. Megan.